Okay, we are in our best of 3 series between Ping, Gapped and the Saboteurs, and I've been here 4 times already. I'm not even joking. Yasuo is just disconnecting in draft every single time. Blizzard and their spaghetti code, whenever we're entering the pick and ban phase, he just keeps dropping. So right now, the solution that we came up with, basically the Saboteurs have added a different player instead of Yasuo for the draft. They're going to draft here, and then before the game starts, they're going to remove a player, and then they're going to get Yasuo in for the actual game. It's totally crazy that we're here, but hey, that's what it is. And it's an awesome series, and this series takes place in the losers bracket. So as mentioned before, we are at Meta Madness. It is qualifier number 1. And there are no pre-bans. Now, Meta Madness obviously is all designed to really push teams outside of their comfort zone a little bit. And there's 2 rules that we use in order to accomplish that. And the first rule is that every single hero can only be played once within a series. So after game number 1, the 10 heroes that have been played cannot be played again. That guarantees variety in heroes, and also as the series progresses, makes it more interesting to see what the teams are picking. And you might have seen this already in multiple tournaments that we ran over the last year, because we have started to adopt this principle for more tournaments. But Meta Madness wouldn't be Meta Madness if we didn't go a little bit farther than that. So we also add pre-banned heroes. Now for qualifier number 1, where we are at right now, we don't have pre-banned heroes. The number of pre-bans for qualifier number 2, 3, 4, 5 and the playoffs hinges on sub-goals that we have on the channel. And I want to highlight Saralath in particular now, because he currently dropped a massive gifted sub-bomb on the channel, basically banning 2 heroes out for qualifier number 2 by himself. But yes, once we're heading into the second qualifier, I will obviously inform you that we're in qualifier number 2, that there are pre-bans, and also highlight down here which heroes are unavailable for the qualifier and for the subsequent qualifiers plus the playoffs. So all the infos are going to be there. What you need to know for now is that at least here there's not going to be any pre-bans, but the rule that you can play hero only once within the series still holds true. So we're heading into Battlefield of Eternity as our first map, and already Ultralisk on Maiev. Then in of itself, that is already insane, because he loves that hero. Most teams will ban him out against him, and we get Uther and Stukov together with it. So tethers, I mean, Divine Shielded Maiev jumping into your team and just tethering half your team into a Stukov lurking arm. You can already tell where this is going. So with Cure and Madara coming in for damage, this is going to be super spicy. And on the other side, you have then Hazu, you have Bad Benny, Rutsu, Dainu. I mean, the absolute top team here too. And it's gonna get wild. I mean, it's gonna get really wild. So I want to see what can they do here? Which team prevails? Because this is the losers bracket. It was a huge upset when the 2 teams lost in the winner bracket. Both of them were eliminated and found themselves all of a sudden in the lower bracket fighting for their tournament life here. And they didn't expect it at all. So this is a bit of the road to redemption, so to say, for them. And they gotta go deep in order to make that work. So Malfurion is banned, Greymane is banned. We have the next double pick coming in for the red team. And what's it gonna be? Hazu, he still needs a pick. We're on Battlefield, so 2-lane map. Lots of team fighting that's going to happen here. And the first thing is Rhaegar and Vala. Arrow build possible here. Even here we've seen a lot of auto attack style builds. I think Vala is also taken away now, of course, from the blue team, because if you're going for Uther as a main tank and then Stukov as a second support, it doesn't only benefit Maiev, but if you are thinking about playing Vala, she really benefits from that. Keeping her alive, keeping those stacks alive of a level 1 talent is always super important. Now we have Hazobs picking the hero away from them, together with Cassia that they have in here too. Yrel and Hanzo. And with Bad Benny getting the last pick. We're likely gonna then see also, of course, the lobby being dropped to re-invite Yasuo. So let's see what we're gonna get from the red team for the first map in the series. Really curious to see what we're now gonna get. But yeah, cool drafts for sure. And this series should be pretty awesome. I mean, both of the teams obviously on a fairly high level here, so yeah, let's go. Okay, game number 1, and I got some bad news for fans of the Saboteurs. They are sabotaging not only the game lobbies, but apparently also the games. So Yasuo has again disconnected multiple times as we were trying to get him into the game. So previously he had only problems with the draft, but now he also has problems to enter the game itself. Meaning that the Saboteurs have, after this took nearly 20 minutes now, decided to play with a sub. So on the left side we got Ping gapped with Cure on Yrel, Ultra Ultralisk on Maiev, Skok on Uther, Legacy on Stukov, and Madara is playing Hanzo. And on the right side of the map, it's the Saboteurs with Hazops on Cassia, Dino on Vala, Rutsu on Rega, Bad Benny on Diablo, and Death Knight is playing Deckard Cain. And over here, that's a trap. We got a little bit of a party bush that somebody could fall victim to. So the old man is currently up at the top. Death Knight subbing in. It was actually kind of funny because Copenhagen was another option. And apparently Copenhagen joined the lobby, but they kicked him out again because Death Knight was a little bit faster talking to them in Discord or somewhere else. And they already told him that he can join the game. So at this point, we got Death Knight, as mentioned, for them. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who takes it now. Is it possible for the red team with a sub to claim it against a team that has, of course, a bit of a ping disadvantage, since 3 of their players are playing cross-server from North America? Particularly, of course, Cure, Legacy, and Madara. And we have this double support. Vala taken away by the Saboteurs, but there's still Maiev to be considered. And I'm here for it. This game should be pretty awesome. This is 2 top teams that a lot of people expected to battle it out in the grand final. And it just didn't happen. So it was curious to see them drop into the losers bracket yesterday in the first place, because that was a huge upset, as both of them actually lost. Some real spicy games there from the Cats and also from the Raiders. And now an opportunity for one of these 2 to at least make it into the top 3, if not more than that, if they can win this best of 3 series now. So let's go. Vala still stacking, camps taken, 1 for each team here. And some serious damage already at the bottom of the map, as particularly Stukov was the one to control the choke point here, aka the gate, and made sure that nobody could really be too aggressive and push out. Diablo tried though, so he dove deep onto one of the minions and tried to get a hold of Stukov in particular. Couldn't get him there. Same time, we have again the auto attack build. So as explained a bit previously, of course, in the past you've seen more or less exclusively the arrow build on this map. Right now, both are fine. It depends a bit on how exactly you want to play the game out and what your focus is in fights. But if you want to go for teamfight victories and not simply look for immortal damage, then the auto attack build is obviously still reigning supreme. Good kill against Cassia as she gets Hanzo'd. So first blood for the blue team, and even more damage down at the bottom gate. That's actually pretty impressive. With the Immortal now being announced, they're not even going for their own camp, because they're realizing that they have a chance here to do significant damage to the fort itself and maybe even get another kill. Problem is that Uther is now gone, so he's down and they can't get a counter kill here. Vala, on the other hand, is getting a lot of hits together. So she's already sitting at 46 stacks. Job well done. Might be able to get a little bit more. Yep. And that is not only her passing 50, but also getting another kill in. Stukov is gone. Maiev barely survived. And there's that. Traditionally, of course, if you have 2 supports, then you would be more comfortable playing Vala with an auto-attack play. But right now, they're still totally fine there. It takes a little bit away from your immortal pressure, but since they are focusing on the teamfights more so than anything else, it of course makes perfect sense. For Deckard Cain, we get the Potion of Shielding on level 4, and we also get the Plate of the Whale. While they are trying to go for Ultralisk again, and Maiev might be in trouble here. Dino moving forward. Ooh, and that is the kill. Dino is stacking this like crazy. He hasn't died yet. He's at 67 stacks, and I guess they are also now able to get the first objective. So despite the fact that they're playing with a sub at this point, they're looking good here. Now, to be fair, it's not like Death Knight is a bad player or anything. It doesn't matter if you get Death Knight or if you get Copenhagen. Both of these guys have been around for ages. They know what they're doing. They've played with this team before. So, of course, if you have Yasuo there who they trained with, it's a different story. But it's not like they're going for from 100 to 0 here or anything. These guys still can contribute a lot and are insanely strong. So, therefore, the Saboteurs still very powerful and strong here. And down at the bottom of the map, they showcase that again with an early level 7 talent that now allows them to take that wall down and really repay Ping Gap, who initially were the ones to do structural damage. So there it is. Already more hits coming. Now the chance to maybe even take the fort out. Rhaegar is moving in from the top at this point. Each team with a double support here. And yeah, let's see. Death Knight at this point. Okay, here comes Cure. So yeah, Vala is still double support assistance in bigger team fights once that Rhaegar moves away. It also allowed them initially, by the way, to go for the 2-3 split that they showcased, and we've seen that from them once before. But the fort still stands. Fort on the blue team side, still standing, and yep, now... It's actually kind of funny, by the way, that both of the teams are playing double support now. Because this was... I mean, when was this? 2019? 2018? Must have been 2018. When double support was the meta just everywhere. And you had like insanely long games with nobody dying because everybody played double support. All day, every day. These days you don't see that all that much anymore. You see double support with Vala quite a bit, but you don't see both teams running the same setup. 3 kills against the Saboteurs on the other hand, so even with the 2 supports it didn't help them to survive through this. And now that Cassia falls, that's 5 kills in total, 4 ping gapped, and they have a chance to take that bottom fort out. So they're definitely going hard on this one. Vala dying also means that now 1 or 5% of the auto attack speed is gone. So one of the Gambit quests is eliminated. Still sitting at 101 stacks. 6 minutes in, that's pretty good. Even with you dying once, that's solid. Would of course have been a little bit better if Dino could have prevented this from happening, but yeah. Next Immortal spawning soon TM. But here we are. We got 5 kills to 3. Level lead for Ping Gap. And more importantly, they're going to get level 10. And they're going to get it perfectly aligned for the next round of Immortal damage. So this is going to help them at least with the halftime show. Might technically also help them to do a bit more than that. So there's actually a chance that they are able to take the entire thing if they hurry. Or force a team fight. I mean, again, you don't even have to just try and go for the race here, but if instead you can just simply go for the battle and take 1 or 2 heroes out, that already does more than enough for your cause. So, halftime show, still insanely even, because they just went for the damage trade. They didn't even try to contest this properly. So, should have walked with a bit more here, in my opinion. Could have been more aggressive around this, but yep, off we go. They're going to win this one for sure. There's no way for the Saboteurs to get close to level 10. But look at URL. They're saying like, hey, we want this camp too. If you're actually doing that, we want the camp. And yes! There it is. Madara going for the Dragon Strike. Meme Strike, baby! Love it. I told the story the other day that he was one of the first players that actually got real value out of the Dragon Strike. And made me quite a fan of his performance there. So let's see if he can repeat that in this game. Just zoning people. It's not even that you have to just always do damage with it, but just zoning people properly and therefore setting up kills and opportunities for the rest of the team or yourself is already great. And with level 20, the cooldown reduction is of course bonkers, so let's see what Madara can do here. There's already the Ancestral. Yep, damage comes in. The Immortal also starting to dish it out against the fort. This one's likely going to fall. That will be the second one that gets destroyed as the Saboteurs already lost the fort at the bottom of the map. Ultralisk! Oh my god, what a clutch play by him! And they get a double kick as a result. Nicely done. Top fort destroyed. Vala is now dead too. That's her already dying twice. And just look at Ultralisk. No hit points and he goes for the double tether. Pulls them in here and then they get the kill. There it is. Bam! Immediately 2 fall. Cassia and Diablo, they both die. Nicely done. They destroy the fort and then Vala, and now they can go for the keep up at the top. Beautifully played, and Ping Gap walks away with a keep destroyed. Only 8-9 minutes into the game. Insanely well done. And of course it also gets reflected in a significant lead in experience. Another nice ult for Madara, zoning off Rhaegar in the back, forcing Bad Benny to retreat. So yeah, they're looking just glorious here. Bot lane gets still pressured. There's catapults on the lane too that they gotta deal with. 144 stacks at least for Vala, but this is still solid performance from Ping Gap in game number 1. A little bit of extra damage down here. The catapults won't be able to do too much, but an early level 13 is for sure going to be the next reward for the blue team. We have 35,000 damage by Madara himself, 29,000 for Vala, even with all the stacks that Dino is getting for himself. They weren't able to pull further ahead than that. Camp is still up on the left side, so they're going for that one too. Level 13 gave them, amongst other things, now also the Virulent Reaction here. And on top of that, we're getting Valence Chosen and the Bladed Armor. And thanks to that kill at the top, I mean, they have full map control. Just look at the minimap for a second. The entire map is pretty much blue, with the exception of the Shaman camp on the right side. But they're not even moving out. They're playing it safe. They're letting the minions come to them. The Saboteurs are just sitting there, soaking experience. They know there's nothing to be gained by moving out on the map just yet. But it also results in Ping Gapped having nearly full vision over the entire map. That's the big upside for them. They have vision over nearly everything. They're timing their own camp here to try and apply more damage towards the bot lane and more pressure in particular, forcing the red team to eventually move down there and defend the keep, and therefore abandon the Immortal in the middle, at least so the theory for them. They take the one at the top, time that as well, and now we're seeing the same happening down at the bottom of the map as they're going for the Immortal and immediately take position here. For the Saboteurs, they would love to have level 13 with this. They really, really want that. But the halftime show, they are going to give it up. They're going to give the halftime show up, but they're going to try and go for level 13, take these camps out, and then go for the fight. That's basically the strategy here. But the 50% are disappearing within seconds, and Ping Gapped is, of course, trying to now end the game here. 13 versus 13. Gloom for Vala. More defensive layers for her, outside of just simply running the two supports here. The gloves of Alacrity are being chosen by Cassia, and for Rega we get the Earth Shield. And here now it's party time. One camp still at the top, could technically also escort a couple of catapults over towards the core, but the team fight will likely decide the fate of the Saboteurs now. Can they survive a little bit longer, or are they just gonna get murdered here? Deckard Cain with the ancient blessings, the old man sitting in the back and stuttering his way forward slowly, as the blue team is trying to poke them down a bit and get into position. Double support on both sides. Each team with 2 healers. A lot of sustain therefore. You want to have those quick and spicy kills, but up at the top side, double catapult, still one of the Khazras, and it's going to march towards the core now slowly. It's only 11-12 minutes into the game, so we're not really in a situation yet where it's going to do too much damage, but eventually the shield on the core should fall. Vala playing with Urel a little bit here, but Ultralisk is the one that finds himself in the thick of things again. There's the barbecue. Death Knight missing hard on his ult, but Madara also not aligning the Dragon Strike properly. Here comes the Divine Shield for Maiev as the minions on the top lane arrive at the core and start to do work there. So now the shield is slowly starting to disappear in just a moment. But the fight continues, and the Saboteurs are pushing past the Immortal, trying to win the objective. Double catapult already on it, triple catapult in fact, but they're not strong enough yet to just murder that shield, or it would force the red team back already, which hasn't happened this far. So once again, we got 176 stacks for Vala. They're trying to go for Bad Benny. Ancestral is out. The core is losing hit points. 97%, 95 on the red team's core. They need to send somebody back eventually. Vala playing it out with Urel here. Cure jumping away, waiting for the cooldown, but allowing now a 5 versus 4 with Vala re-entering the fight in the middle. The core is now down to 89%, but the catapults are about to be destroyed, and Vala talking about destroyed. She gets murdered by Hanzo. Hanzo comes in, and Hanzo's her heart. So that's Vala gone, the main damage dealer off the board for them. Another Dragon Strike in a work of art, zoning Rega away, nearly killing Diablo. But instead, it's the blue team that loses 2, loses 3. What the hell? That was incredibly well done. It looked like the Saboteurs had already lost the fight, and they are turning it. Now they have a chance to win the objective. They're bringing it back. What a battle there. That was glorious. I mean, this was so clutch and so close. The blue team, if they get one more kill, they just snowball it completely, and instead they're losing 3, and now they lost the Immortal as well. Their core is at 89%. 89% on the core, and they can finally do some damage. The Immortal is walking top lane, and they are pressuring through the bottom. They want to go for both of the forts, and there's nothing to stop them from accomplishing that. Maybe a little bit at the top. So yeah, I don't think they're going to get the top fort now that I look at it, because the defense is there. Level 16, and soon both teams are going to have a level 16. So a big comeback now for the Saboteurs. They're still behind. They're still behind, but it's a big comeback nonetheless. They got level 16 now. Debilitating Flames with the full Firestorm build for him. Also Rega with the Earthgrass Totem now. They're trying to go in for Vala. Once again, she's nearly at 200 stacks. Died a couple of times on the other hand, so loses the attack speed, but has now Manticore. They were really trying to go for him here. Oh, Bad Benny. Careful, zoning in the back. Again, maybe a bit too early here from the Dragon Strike. The old man coming straight through with his ult. Stay away and get wrecked. They're wrecking Uther. They try for another kill and they get it in URL. All of a sudden, the Saboteurs just crushing it here. Absolutely destroying them. It was such a fantastic momentum for Ping Gap that they enjoyed. And then the red team turned it around in the last fight. Ultralisk low, and he barely gets out. Still not losing the top fort, by the way. This one is still in play. And down at the bottom of the map, this keep isn't gone yet, but it seems like the red team is going to be able to take it out. And Vala, of course, stacking, and looking for added kills. Benny gone. Benny dies. And that might put an end to this fight. But they want the keep. They go in, they commit, and they grab it. Each team now, with the keep, lost, catapult still pushing through the top lane. Keep in mind, that fort is still standing technically. So they have a catapult on every single lane right now. And Diablo has just lost his hit points. So they're zoning them away again, driving a bit of a wedge between them. Once they have level 20, they're going to get the cooldown reduction too. Top lane, catapults are coming through there. But how are they going to play this now? Blue team finds themselves in a really awkward position because they were absolutely dominating this game. And now it's not only an eye level match, but they might lose this one. So for now, we have Vala with 3 deaths. Again, the objective is up, and with Hanzo, they should be able to go for the halftime show extremely quickly. Red team did what they had to do and went to the top lane to take the catapults out, but that also means giving up the halftime show. So the blue team is once again a bit ahead, and there's the first catapult now up at the top, so it's once again a top lane push that they're hoping for, with a catapult spawning on each lane. Not taking out that fort top side is a problem. It really is. Makes things difficult for them now. We are 10 kills to 8, and time is working in favor of Ping Gap. This is only game number 1. They're trying to commit. They're trying to go for the fight. Straight the tether into the lurking arm. And the slap from Stukov, trying to get them a bit out of the way here. Trying to create a little bit more space, and this is the same thing that we're seeing from Hanzo with another Dragon Strike. 2 catapults at the top lane now. Slowly making their way towards the core, and this time we're 17 minutes into the game. This time we're talking actual damage. It's not only the top lane, by the way. Look at the bottom of the map. There's 3 catapults pushing in here as well. So the blue team is in a similar spot all of a sudden. Yes, they actually have a problem as well. So both of the teams, I mean, there's already a couple of hit points gone from the red team's core, but still, they're looking for a fight, they're looking for the tether, they're looking for Hazorps, and they find him. They get the kill and take him down. Rhaegar, too slow. Rhaegar doesn't get the ult through, and that's a problem. Over here, the catapults are actually getting destroyed by the minions, so good for them. Divine Shield is now out, and they go for Benny! And he gets the Ancestral. But now the catapults are on the core of the Saboteurs. And this time the shield disappears much faster. Much faster. Those bad boys are hitting so much harder now. So the shield is disappearing. The next minion wave will take the catapults down, but they're losing again some of the hit points. 81%, 78%. Cure in trouble. Cure low. Gets away. The tether and the kill. Diablo dead, and this time for the full duration. 63% on the red team's core, and the Immortal is about to be claimed. Catapults not on the core just yet. Rhaegar can take it out, but they lost 2 heroes in that last encounter, and this is a big Immortal for Ping Gap. This is their chance to end game number 1. Right here, right now. Going through the bot lane and trying to finish it off. They have to deal with the catapults here. At least they should make sure that they cannot get closer to the core. But this is, of course, the goal now. Take that keep out and destroy the core if you can. Diablo is dead for another 18 seconds. He's going to come back with 64 souls. Vala on 68,000 damage, but look at Hanzo. 101,000. He already joined the 6-digit club right here. They're poking the best they can from a distance before Dibbles is back to business. Try and take that keep quickly so they can focus on the core afterwards. And there it is again. The zoning from Hanzo. And they're going to hit 20. They're going to hit 20 with the next minion wave. It's looking really good for the blue team if they can just keep the heroes together for a bit longer. They want to go for another kill against Vala. It doesn't work, and they lose Urel. They lose Urel before they hit level 20. Huge problem for them. The Immortal already in melee mode lost the shield, but they're still hoping that in the 5 versus 4 situation they can take this. With the Immortal still pushing for them, maybe they have a shot. Shield goes down, but it goes down too slowly. Now Uther is dead. He has redemption. 54% on the red team's core, but they cannot end it. They gotta try and get out of the fight instead. Uther back in just another moment. They're trying to turn it. Here comes the Dragon Strike with the cooldown reduction. Stukov is being chased. Uther is being chased. Maiev is on the run. Uther the first one to fall. Maiev is not going to make it either. Stukov is already dead, and Rhaegar finishes off Maiev. And Ping Gapt has just shit the bed. 12 kills to 13, and the blue team went full throw city. And instead of retreating and playing it a bit safer, they are now looking at an opponent that is rushing with all 5 heroes towards their core to win game number 1. Ping gapped with a bad call towards the end and now likely going to lose this. Urel is back trying to buy time for them. Do they have a chance? Can they somehow buy enough time? Hanzo is poking. The core is slowly falling. It's too quick for them. 30 seconds, 25 until Uther and Stukov are back. They just don't have enough here. Dino is dancing around the core, and there's the lead now for the Saboteurs. It's not happening, even with Rutzo about to die. They're getting 1 kill, they're getting 2, but the core is still falling, and that is game. That's the lead for the Saboteurs in this best of 3 series in the losers bracket. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Saboteurs in the lead, 1-0 for the red team. It always feels bad when a team gets... Well, it feels bad for the team. For us, it's obviously very entertaining, but getting wiped at the opponent's core and then them turning it around completely is rough. This is, I believe, the 3rd time that it happened in this qualifier, and it's kind of crazy. So the 10 heroes that we saw on the first map are now not available anymore. Limits, again, the player pool a little bit, but obviously we have plenty of heroes in the pool, so those 10 are not going to be too sorely missed. But we're heading into Sky Temple, which is interesting. This is the map choice of the Saboteurs. So let's see what they are going to play out here. With them having practice and having actually trained properly for Meta Madness, also with some weird comms, which we've seen in the winner bracket already, I wouldn't really put it past them to go for a bit of a cheesy strategy there. Back in the days of HGC, the cheese strategy that existed for a few weeks was Abathur and Samuro, and you could technically still try and play something along those lines. But there are other things that you, of course, could try if you really wanted to. But then again, this is also a game or a match really on eye level between the two of them. So you have to be very, very careful that you don't overstep and all of a sudden you get kicked out of the tournament. Ping Gapt is not going to be happy about a lot of this here. First of all, they had to wait for like 20 minutes while Yasuo was trying to figure out his problems and consistently disconnected from the lobby. And then when the fair game was finally going on, they first really just snowballed it hard and then lost control of the game and got destroyed. So I think the blue team is quite upset with how things are currently going here. Let's be honest. Now, we have Genji banned, Sylvanas is out, so is Tracer. And Kyr goes for Blaze as his first pick here. Yeah, no move into the Haka or anything yet. Sky Temple, obviously another map that also lends itself a bit to you playing globals and trying to use them in your arsenal, which we haven't really seen here yet too much either. But in the good old days, you know, the triple global strategy of Frenetic on Sky Temple, for example, always a huge highlight. As is right now, the Saboteurs still might have an ace or 2 up their sleeves. And there's the Haka plus Lucio. So with Lucio making it through the draft, we now have the Haka added on top of that. That gives us a global for at least one team here. And how are the NA boys now going to react? NA boys plus 2. Well, Skog with Johanna. Ultralisk. They could at some point also go for a Medivh play, just saying. This is, by the way, really nice frontline. Blaze and Johanna, I mean, doesn't get much better than that. Madara goes for Greymane again. We've already seen that in action earlier. With huge success, too. Just saying. Yeah, and for the red team, they need to still ban something out here. So they're probably looking towards Ultralisk. Karrigan is always an option. with Blaze, with Jojo. You could definitely do that if you wanted to. You have Kerrigan there. He could also, again, just play another range damage dealer very easily. And we've seen him multiple times now in this tournament too with Medivh. And they agree on the Kerrigan part and like, maybe just get rid of Kerrigan. He can't play Maiev again. She's thankfully out, so let's at least eliminate Kerrigan and make our lives a bit easier. So that's what we're getting. Kerrigan is off the board. And that brings us to the final ban for game number 2. And this is also match point. And since we are in the losers bracket, if the red team wins this one, they move on to face off against the Cats in the losers bracket final. But yeah, for Ping Gapped, they of course hope that they can win 2 in a row now. But we got our double pick coming in. So let's see what particularly the front line is going to look like. We already know the Hakas on the side lane, but who are they going to use as their main tank here? What is Bad Benny going to use? At some point I want to see Benny again on Varian. There was a time... there it is. I was just about to say, them just sniping heroes all day, every day, and they're going straight back to the same playbook. Dainu on Jaina, Varian is in, we get Sergeant Hammer, and we get Anduin. Okay, so, big frontline, Anduin plus Sergeant Hammer, really annoying to push into this, for sure. And on the other side, we have Varian trying to get close enough that Jaina can unleash the burst damage that she, of course, holds, and take them out. Rutsu, he has to bring the draft together a little bit. They need more damage than only Jaina. They have to rely on a bit more than her. But what do you play now against Sergeant Hammer in that context? I mean, what's the choice here? And well, the last pick, it's Abathur! They go for it. Ladies and gentlemen, Sky Temple, game number 2. Alright, time to party. Ping Gapped has to catch up. They need to win 2 in a row now. And they're trying to win at least this map, Sky Temple, by dropping the hammer. Ultralisk with Sergeant Hammer, Legacy playing Anduin. We got Cure on Blaze, Johanna played by Skok, and Madara on Greymane. Right side of the map, Hazops in the meantime with Dehaka. We got Dainu on Jaina and Death Knight with Abathur. The Slug is in their house. Together with Lucio, that's always an annoying combo as well. I mean, Abathur is pretty much annoying with any hero that you can pair him off with. But there's a few that are a bit more annoying, and yeah, Lucio is definitely one of them. Bad Benny playing Varian again, as he has so many times in the past, and off we go. They're already trying for some structural damage, which is of course in and of itself the most important thing to do when you're playing on Sky Temple. Try and take a couple of structures down without even using the objective, and you will eventually surpass your opponent very, very quickly and target the core. So that's the game plan here. And it already allows them to set things up at least a little bit for the next objective. In the middle of the map, they're pushing a bit here too. Cure still surviving throughout all of that, so all the pressure didn't really do too much. And now that we are looking at this continuous siege play at the bot lane, it is yielding dividends. Yeah, they're taking down not only the tower, but also the gate, and they might even destroy the entire wall, which is, by the way, huge if they're able to pull that one off without sacrificing anything themselves. Top lane, yeah, they need to send somebody in to deal with this, but I suppose the Cure is soon going to rotate over. And they nearly kill Lucio too at the bottom of the map, so things are not really looking too good now for Ping Gapped. And they're just continuing with this, like what the hell? Greymane in Warden form already on the structure. And then on top of that, you also have Sergeant Hammer. Look at Rutsu. Rutsu is just dropping low. Madara gets finally caught and I guess killed, but everybody else survives here. And they have done an enormous amount of structural damage, and that is massive, absolutely massive. Particularly on this map. If you're talking Sky Temple, that is a huge lead. That is a huge lead that you can really build on if you're also getting some of those temples. So it's nearly... I mean, it's not quite the good old McDonald's strategy from Fnatic. But sieging up like this is a little bit reminiscent. Not quite the same heroes, a little bit of a different meta, but the idea of just sieging up at the bot lane, at least initially, is still fairly the same. Now, just to put the right spin on this, you can actually not execute the Fnatic strategy anymore, because structures that you take out do not give you direct experience, and back then the whole goal was to reach an early level 10 and go for the boss. Take the boss with a level 10 advantage that you gain by taking structures down and then play around that and snowball the game hard. And Fnatic executed that, of course, exceptionally well. But right now, there's still a massive siege going on in favor of Ping Gapped. And the Saboteurs are struggling with it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So the damage comes in. Ultralisk is already moving out. He doesn't even have his mobility talents yet. So that's another thing that we have to account for. The Haka coming through. They need him here. Yeah, and he hits it hard. And Ultralisk is ultra dead. Yep, he's gone. 2 kills to 0. But I cannot help looking at that fort and seeing that it has less than 50% HP. And that at the top, very little has actually changed. Now, this can of course be repaired once the level 7 is in and Abathur can start relying on Mule. So they gotta think about how exactly they want to deal with this. Do they still want to push? Destroy it before Abathur can do that? Or they do just simply say, hey, you know what? We're going to push on multiple lanes anyway, so if you repair one lane a little bit, it opens up opportunities for somewhere else. We just push all lanes, a lot of structures, and you won't be able to do a whole lot about it. So, time will tell on that. But they're already getting shots in the middle and even at the top. So on the top, Blaze is reigning supreme. Over here, it's just an endless fight. And Ultralisk, again, doesn't even have level 7 yet. So once Tarsh and Hammer relies on his level 7 talent, the mobility is going to improve the situation even further. 7 is in. Mule can be used at the bot lane now. Yeah, there it is already. So immediately being used by Abathur. But they're getting all of the shots in the middle. I'm telling you, structurally, the blue team is getting such a huge lead. If they can avoid dying too much and just keep that up, that would be insane for them. They haven't gotten a single kill yet, but they can always focus or shift their focus in those fights later by a bit, and you can already tell how they're low. Dino wants to die. Dino just has a death wish, and he goes down. Abathur gets killed in the meantime by Blaze up at the top, so the slug is taken out, but Dino went full Sudoku in this one. Honorable Subaru by Jaina. She went deep. Just said life isn't worth living anymore. And, well, blue team was happy to oblige. So they take her down. 2 kills to 2. And let's take inventory here real quickly. Wall destroyed. Half HP. Wall pretty much destroyed. And down at the bottom of the map, wall destroyed. Also pretty much half HP. Now they need to take these out. Mule is gonna repair them eventually. So you gotta do something, right? You can't just simply sit there. Not do anything about it at all. Another mule is already getting dropped here. But it's already, even without the mules, such a structural advantage for them that it is massive. It's huge. And they're trying to take the mule out, which they could. And now they're going for the fort itself. And Abathur doesn't have a copy yet. You're playing a numbers game here. Abathur just doesn't have his ult yet. And that always means that you have 1 hit point pool less, or 1 hit point bar less in those team fights. And on the experience side, the Saboteurs are not too far ahead here. So the red team, once that they have level 10, they can do a lot to bring this back. But as it stands right now, they will suffer the consequences of their composition in the early game at least. And yep, that's where we are now. The fort is already destroyed. We're 5 minutes in. So this is looking really nice. Really nice for Pink Gap. Again, always from the perspective of structures. Because that's what essentially matters the most when you're playing on Sky Temple, as long as you're trading temples with your opponent. So Abathur is now going to shift to the top lane. Mule is in. And nice. Camp stolen away thanks to the early level 10. I like it. And they might even get a kill. Nah, not quite. But now we have at least Ultimate Evolution. And High Five. So now they got a couple of tools that they can use and where they can really take team fights. They are also taking the lead on the bottom temple, which is helping them too. So, a couple of things in favor of the red team now that they're trying to use. But their opponent is drawing even at this point. Yeah, and forcing them back as we have Cure playing out here too. Still interlocked in a bit of a battle with Jaina. Has to bunker it up too. Yeah, Hazops is there. Rutsu is coming. He's dead. He's dead, but the bottom fort has again been destroyed earlier. Now they get the shots fired in the middle. And he actually survives? Are you kidding me? Really? No way. Cure actually makes it. They're fighting out over the shrine at the bottom of the map. Benny cannot do this for too long. They didn't get a kill here in the middle. BFG doesn't do a whole lot. But even with Abathur, there's the Blessed Shield. Suck it back into the range of Ultralisk. And now Bad Benny is nearly gone and gets saved. But we also have Madara coming in. There's the taunt. What a fight. But they still could not save the fort in the middle. It still got destroyed here. Yes, they killed 2. Might even be able to get a 3rd kill now against Madara. But structurally, they're falling farther and farther behind. It's a wild game, honestly, when you think about it. 2 kills to 5 now, but losing, of course, a lot of infrastructure. And while this fight still rages on up at the top lane, we're now having Cure trying to take out another fort, destroys the mule already. And even if they're coming in to kill him, he is doing so much damage here. So the entire outer ring of defense is pretty much gone on the side of the Saboteurs. Ping gapped, they will have to shift their strategy a little bit as this continues, but at least for now, they are doing well. They fall behind in experience, lose some heroes, but they're doing extremely well on structures. And as long as you're trading with your opponent, that's fine. Now, the risk is, of course, falling behind in talents and not being able to take any team fights anymore. So they got to be careful around that. But currently, they're doing decent work here. But with the comm that they have, they can also engage into 5 versus 5 battles. And eventually, they will have to do exactly that. Sergeant Hammer with 33,000 damage already. We now have 24,000 for Jaina. Another camp up at the top that can be taken. And the talent lead, of course, is a really nice buffer that the Saboteurs currently have for themselves. But what to do with it? What exactly are you going to do with it? Still a fight for Vision. Greyman is here as well. Madara is falling back. There's still the Mule to be considered topside. So taking at least the Mule out would be great. They can limit the value that Abathur gets from it, but they are still suffering a talent disadvantage. Dehaka isn't here though. Dehaka was at the bot lane and has now escorted those Siege Giant in. Is now moving towards the top for the fight. And the blue team is apparently willing to give him a battle without having a level 13 talent, which is kind of wild if you ask me. Disengaging now, but the bottom fort has now fallen. So for the Saboteurs, this is getting pretty alright. They're starting to do some damage themselves. They're starting to take some of the structures out. They have a lead in experience. The question is simply, can they maintain that? Now we have a double temple activating. So from here on out, it is all about who takes these team fights, who wins them, and who is able to now come through and get those temples and more structures destroyed. Because let's say, for example, the blue team gets both. If they're able to pull that off, then we're talking keeps pretty soon. And that's something that the Saboteurs definitely cannot avoid, afford. So yeah, here we go. Who wins the team fight? This is the big do-or-die moment. Ultralisk gets attacked. Siege tactics, nicely done by him, but he still dies. Well played by Ultralisk, but it's not enough. They focus on him, they take him down. Madara is on the run. This is the big opportunity for the team in red, and they take it. They sacrifice Varian, but they kill 2 heroes. Now they go for Jojo, and even with the Iron Skin still available, she's also dying. 3 heroes destroyed. There's Blaze going down too. That leaves only the Crybaby, who's running away as usual. So Anduin is out, and this is really where the game flipped. Up to this point, it was still going pretty okay for Ping Gap, but they needed to win the team fight or at least trade evenly and get one of the temples. And now the opposite is happening. Not only are they 7 kills behind, 2 levels behind, a talent behind another second, but they're losing both of the temples. And Abathur is even escorting that bot lane in a bit further. So yes, the entire set of forts is now destroyed. They do not have mules, so they're now behind in structures, in experience, in kills, and in talents. This fight changed it all. Right here, the Saboteurs have taken that big lead. And this is looking great for them now. With those level 16 talents in particular, they can do work. They're going to be totally happy to take any team fight that is going to happen here. And the shots are still fired. That bottom keep has already taken damage and takes a bit more as the final shots come in. Blessed Shield connects. Okay, nicely done. And Lucio still gets out as the flank is appearing slowly. But they're going just simply for normal camps. They don't really need to push for boss here. I guess they could, but they would probably love to just take a normal team fight first and see if they can take a hero down before they do anything drastic. So, yeah. Here we go. And everybody's now having their eye on the boss. I mean, pretty much everyone. Q is just sitting there and is securing the position. Is keeping vision on it because he knows that the red team will be tempted. That level 16 talent advantage is, of course, a big one. So, yeah. And they might go for it. Again, like, they have that lead. So first they push the opponent back a little bit. Greymane is at the top, so vision is there. And now that they have started to zone them out a bit, they're actually going for it. So yes, boss is committed to copy on Jaina. They're trying to burn it down quickly, even sacrificing the ult of Abathur for the cause. And here comes the blue team, but they don't have level 16 yet. They're engaging into the fight regardless. Really nice ult from Sergeant Hammer, hitting them hard. But the boss is already taken. That's all that they wanted. Death Knight's copy goes down. Nobody else dying, but that's of course a big push at the bot lane now. Straight for the keep on the red team, on the blue team side. Well done. Yeah, Nabatha can still use the Symbiote to push some of the other lanes out. Currently has it active, or had it active a second ago at the top lane. 16 is about to hit for Ping Gap, but they're in real trouble here. That bottom keep should not survive. We're already 13 minutes in. Even if the boss can be burned down, it means that they have to use all their resources here, and that should open up some other opportunities for the Saboteurs, and they're stealing now the camp away up at the top. So the bottom keep is going to survive for now. But it means that they are sacrificing their camp here, and that allows to push for more. And maybe for a kill. They get taunt, and it's a kill. He didn't have the cooldown for his bunker, and that's the end. Yep, Blaze is a prepper, but he didn't prep well enough. He didn't have the cooldown ready, so no bunker entry for you. Didn't get a ticket, and that is the top wall being destroyed. Couple of quick taunts are coming in, and the more damage they can do here, the more they're going to accomplish now with Dehaka taking over the top temple. Another keep that is taking damage, and if they cannot push back, then this one is indeed going to fall. Death Knight already with another copy, ready for the cooldown to circle them through here. But this is starting to really fall apart. I mean, look at the gap in experience. It's just bananas. It's absolutely bananas. Basically 2.5 levels, that's what we're talking about right now. Which means that in half a level they have level 20. And yeah, how do you even do here? You gotta catch somebody on the map somehow. So it's getting a bit nasty. Shots are fired. One keep gone. Keep at the bot lane has been damaged. Cure is going for the Siege Giants at least. But this is a bit of a disastrous move, because all that the Saboteurs are going to do now is wait for level 20, hit level 20, try and play their Storm Talon advantage, and then take whatever they can on the map. There's very little that Ping Gap can do, and once the objective is back up on the map, it's always going to be working in favor of the Saboteurs. So they want this 2-0, they want to move on to the next round. It will guarantee them third place at least if they win here, and I mean, who's going to stop them? Unless they throw the game hard, they are going to take this one. Anduin is the only one that hasn't died on the side of Ping Gap. Anduin, the only survivor throughout all of this, and now with the level 20 talents, of course, we get the Hive Mind. Hive Mind is in, glory to the Alliance, yeah, you wish. And Mix and Fire for Lucio. So they're sieging up here a bit, trying to force them into a fight. Trying to force them into anything and get a quick kill, and you know what? They might get it. Benny is low, and he gets kept alive. No way. And now they are getting murdered. Grayman is already gone. Yeah, Jaina survives. Cure wanted to go for the jet propulsion. That was a fantastic ice block. Now they have lost 3. Anduin has finally died too. Up at the top lane, we have a camp now pushing in. And since the entire blue team is getting murdered here, this is going to be the end of the game. 5-man team wipe. As the entire blue team gets crushed, and the Saboteurs are on their way to core and glory. They're going to move on to the next round of the tournament. A 2-0 victory over Ping Gap, as they are now going to face off against the Cats in the next round. Nicely done here at the first qualifier for Meta Madness. 16 kills to 3, and a well-deserved victory in the series. GG, and well played.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.